Are you planning your first ever bike tour but have zero idea what gear you need to take along? Well, stick around. I've got all the tips and tricks you need to get you through your ride. Bicycle touring, the act of self-contained cycling, can last one day or multiple days. I did it for the first time in 2016 when I biked across the Pacific Northwest. I'll tell you, it was one of the most rewarding things I ever did. I learned a lot about myself and a lot about what you need to take and not take on your ride. Let's first start with your bicycle. A couple of quick questions you have to ask yourself. Am I going to be on-road? Am I mainly going to be off-road? Or am I going to be doing a little bit of both? If you're going to go with on-road, you could go with a touring bike. Most are a little bit heavier because they're steel frames to absorb the cushion of the road, but you got to deal with that weight. If you're going off-road mainly, I would probably recommend a mountain bike because it's going to get you the most bang for your buck. You're going to be able to do most hills and trails that you want to hit without hurting your bike or hurting yourself. And if you're mainly going to be on-road, you could go with a road bike, but usually they're not really quite built for that, so you're going to feel it a lot. I would suggest something with a hybrid combo, like a gravel bike is always a good option. GT makes a bicycle, which I used, which is their GT Grade 105. It's a gravel bike, and it had everything I needed to tour. It was lightweight, aluminum frame, carbon fiber fork, so that's a good option. But really, the sky's the limit as far as what bicycle you want to go with. It's just really up to your personal taste and what suits you best. You could use what's in your garage. It just depends on what you want to do. Next thing you have to ask yourself is, what kind of rack do I want? I would recommend getting something that can handle a little bit more weight. I believe this is 30 pounds. It's made by Axiom. I did, however, on my bicycle tour across the Pacific Northwest, I did take too much weight with me. I ended up taking 70 pounds, 25 on my back, and 40 on my saddles. So you want to, lesson learned, you want to take a lot less than that. Usually around 30, 40 is probably pretty good. You don't want to be going more than that. As far as gear goes, you're going to want to have to pack in something that's going to collapse, because if you're flying into your location and shipping your bicycle, you need a way to either store your luggage or carry it on your bicycle. So I went with REI bags. These duffel bags compact down and they're great. You can throw them on the back or throw them in your saddle bags, and then you can also check them in. It's a perfect travel companion. Now, a side note, if you're going to be doing more cycling around your area or going to a local vineyard that's only maybe 20 miles away, it's a short ride, and you can park your car somewhere, you don't need all that baggage. Really, you just need what's in your saddlebag and your bicycle and throw it on the back of your car. But really, it just depends on what you're actually going to be doing. So keep in mind, wherever you travel, you're going to need some place to put your luggage. The next thing you should probably consider for your lawn haul would be your pannier bags. I happen to get these. These are from a company named Roswheel. It's a Chinese manufacturer. They are weather resistant. They are not waterproof, which is key. I got it because it looks cool, and these are just rear panniers. They're not front panniers. That's something, if I was to do this again, I would definitely get front panniers as well to help distribute the weight, because you're gonna feel a lot of it. Your front wheel's really gonna tilt up in the air if you're really back heavy. This is nice though. This kit came with basically a rain cover. So when it did start to rain, when I was riding through Seattle, I could just bag up my whole pannier bag situation and I was set. So that was nice. These fit a lot. They expand quite well. Got plenty of room in here, as you can see. And basically everything I needed went in these. I also got it because it matched the little tiny front kit, which is great. So I like that. I like coordinating my pannier bags. This goes right over my my center bar, and it's great. I keep all kinds of fun, useful tools. My cell phone sometimes goes in here to charge. I keep a bike pump, just in case you need to pump up. Keep your cycling gloves. You're gonna want to definitely have some bike lights. Doesn't matter where you get them from. You can even get the cheapest ones. They're usually LEDs. What's great about them is that when you're riding at night or riding in the rain, you're definitely gonna want some LEDs just to get you through. So I'd recommend getting really whatever brand you want, but yeah, an essential item for sure. I've got a bike pump gauge right here, just to keep an eye out as far as when I'm filling up my tires. Keep a lighter just in case, you never know what you need to light on fire while you're on the road. On this side, I've got my essential tool bag here that has everything I need to repair my tires and my bicycle. It comes with, oh, these are great. So I have this little CO2 air pump. This is super great. This was my main source of pumping up my tires while I was on the road. I rarely used this just because this was so convenient, and I had a bunch of extra little CO2 tanks. You can get them pretty much at any REI or any outdoors supply store. So if you're biking and you know you're gonna be hitting certain spots along the way, you can pick some of these up. Otherwise, buy a case online. I think they come in like 24 or 50 packs, and you're set. Throw a bunch in your bag, you're good to go. I'd also recommend some Allen keys, a set of Allen keys for your bicycle, just in case you have to make small minor repairs. A little tiny thing like this is great and convenient. And you also should have a glueless patch kit. This, I luckily did not have to use on my 400-mile bike ride, but if I did, this would have been very, very helpful. And then here, this is a little wedge to help get your bike tire out while you're trying to get the tube out and replace the whole thing. It's just nice to have one of these tools because it helps a lot. The last thing, got this big tool right here. This is good for wrenching your tires, your wheel axles, anything that's big and large that needs to get wrenched. You keep this little tiny multi-use wrench right here, and you can get everything done with this little guy. So get one of these. As far as repairs go, I already mentioned the patch kit. I would recommend taking one, if not two, inner tubes, just in case you pop, depending on how long you're gonna be on the road. And then I even took a spare tire. You can buy them where they're all bundled up like this. If you've got room in your bag, you can get it like that. Probably won't have to bust this out because the inner tube would be enough or the patch kit would be enough, but if you needed to, rest assured you've got something while you're out in the middle of nowhere. I also keep in my bag this little guy, or this big guy if you will. It's about the size of my palm. This is by EC Technology. It's got 3 USB ports on here. It is super helpful when you want to keep your phone charged for a day and a half. If you know there's not going to be any place where you're going to have the ability to set up camp and charge your phone. You can keep this running all day while you run Google Maps. You can keep your music playing using this thing by keeping your phone charged. Really, you can. I took camera equipment with me and this was able to charge all my batteries plus my phone. So I brought 2 of these, but one would do it for the average person. I also brought with me a solar powered charger to charge all my batteries and my phone. It was great because it just rested flat on the back while I rode. Another thing you have to consider is clothing. You don't want to bring too many pairs of socks and underwear and pants, but you're going to want to bring enough to get by depending on how many days you're going to be on the road. Keep in mind, if it's cold weather, you're probably going to want a base layer, so definitely dress accordingly, but don't overpack because I tell you, the weight adds up. So these are mountain biker shoes. They're great, they look great, because I hate those cycling shoes a lot. You can walk into a coffee shop with these, but on the bottom, inset, are the clip-ons, so nobody even knows. I'd suggest getting a pair of hiking boots and keeping them on the back just in case you're gonna get around and walk around at night. You don't wanna wear those shoes. Your cycling shoes are not designed for that. So bring an extra pair of shoes, whether they're sneakers or sandals, just bring something. Another essential item, which goes without saying, helmet. You can get any kind you want. I got a skateboard helmet because I thought it looked cool, but really anything works. These are great, these little Ziploc bags, because you can put all your clothing and then they're vacuum sealed, but human vacuum sealed. You roll up your clothes like that, tighten it, boom, zip it up, and then basically shrink wraps all your clothes. It keeps it also weather protected in case it rains. Weather-wise, get a lightweight jacket. Keep rain in mind, because when it rains, it pours and you need to be protected. This is super compact. It basically fits into my pocket, but if it did ever downpour, I was safe. Sleeping arrangements. There are all kinds of options. You can get a hammock, you could get a bivy bag. I went with a one-man tent. This was the smallest size I could find online, but they do make way smaller tents, which again, weight and size are very key issues. Obviously, the bigger size tent you get, the more space it's gonna take up. But this basically rides on top of your pannier bags, and it'll just kind of sit across. I got this sleeping bag by Teton Sports. Got it online on Amazon. It is not the most compact. If I was to do this trip again, I would get a smaller, more compact sleeping bag, but this was very comfortable at night and perfect for Pacific Northwest weather. This is an AirCore, Ultra AirCore insulated sleeping pad. This thing, they make a smaller version than this. It's about 2/3 the size, but oh my gosh, this was a lifesaver. It made sleeping on the ground so much more comfortable. Very compact, inflates, deflates very quickly. If you're carrying extra gear too, like your tent and sleeping bag, you're probably gonna have those on the outside of your pannier bags. On the back, you're gonna need something to strap them down. Simple bungee cords will do the trick, so consider that. Having a lighter is really great, but in case those don't start, get yourself a set of storm-proof matches. Just in case it's raining, these things can ignite in anything, and you're a fool not to carry this with you. Speaking of fires, you're gonna need something to ignite the fire when you're building one at night. So I'd recommend getting these little quick starter tablets. These little things, basically you set them down, you light them, and you can get whatever twigs and branches you need to just kind of build your fire. But this almost guarantees that you're gonna get a fire going without all the work of starting from kindle and working your way up. Another thing to consider when you're on the road is how you're gonna eat. For me, I usually did Cliff Bars in the morning, and then I would find a place to eat along the road. You're gonna wanna get a little bag for water, something to carry your water in, a canteen or some sort of water bottle. Conserve your water because it goes quick. Just use it for where you need it and refill whenever you see an opportunity to refill. When it comes time for nighttime to boil your water for cooking, get yourself a little tiny camping stove. This is by Esbit. So you open this up, got your little grill right here. You take your fire starter, stick it right in there. There's a perfect spot. Light it with your storm matches and stick some twigs in there. Boom, got yourself a nice little hot fire. Boil your water, boom, you're good to go. You just take that and stick it into your favorite food of choice. This is by Good to Go, which was my favorite, Thai curry, it's delicious. And this is by Mountain House. You can make breakfast with these things too. They come in all kinds of different options, but it's around the $10 range for all of this food. Freeze dried, worth it, worth considering for your food of choice. Speakers, this is a Bluetooth wireless speaker. It was about $24 on Amazon. And this is way better than using earbuds. You don't want to use earbuds when you're on the road because you can't hear the oncoming traffic, which is key. So get a Bluetooth speaker, hook it up with your iPod Shuffle, your iPhone, your Galaxy, whatever you got. You're gonna want something to drown out the monotony of the road all day. So music is a good option. First aid kit, just in case, you never know. I'd also recommend getting a lock, just in case you're parked somewhere in a gas station and you're running inside. You don't want anybody to take your bike. It goes without saying, when you're camping alone or camping even in a group, you're gonna need some way to see at night. And of course, best way is to get a headlamp. This is by Black Diamond, and it has everything you need to get by. I already mentioned sunscreen. I'd also recommend insect repellent. Get these little tiny small things, repel 100% DEET. It'll protect you for 10 hours. It's It's worth having. If you're camping in any area that happens to be surrounded by bears, put this on your pack and this on your keychain, just in case to scare them away. This is a bear whistle, and it gets pretty loud. I'm not gonna do it, but it's worth having. Bear mace is worth having too, just in case. You never know, you never know. Last but not least, I'd recommend trash bags. Again, depending on where you're camping, these things seal up tight so you can keep the animals away. And then some bio wipes. These are biodegradable and they're for cleaning up so you can smell great. Download the map that you're gonna be biking on your phone. That way, if you lose GPS signal, you can still track exactly where you're at. Super helpful. Or just take an old school map with you. That's very helpful. And another thing, I would suggest for sure, if you're gonna do this, train more than 20 miles a day. That's what I did. It wasn't enough, because you're gonna be going up and down hills that you are not expecting. If you can average, if you're doing long runs, if you could average around 65 miles a day, that's great. That's fantastic. I was doing about 70 to 80, and that was pushing it for my limits. I know some people can do centuries, but yeah, to each their own. And again, you can take your time and do a very leisurely 35 miles, 40 miles a day. It all depends on what you're in the mood for. So cycling is entirely up to you. Just get out there, travel more. Thank you so much. This has been Adam Huber, YouTuber, giving you tips for bicycle touring.